I'm the moderator together with Åsa Widén, and I think you will handle more of the scientific introductions. So please, Åsa.
Thank you. My name is Åsa Widén. I'm from Sweden at the Swedish University of Agriculture up in the north. And I will be the moderator for this session. The first presenter is Anna Bustos and Marcel Szabo, and he will do his presentation online, and he will start up the presentation. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Marcel, well, good morning. And Marcel, you can start.
Thank you, Anna. First question, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. So greetings to all of the attendants. My name is Bustos Szabó-Mészáros, and I'm really honored to attend the Sustainable Hydropower Conference in Trondheim, even remotely. And thanks to the organizers for this really cool and prestigious event. As said, I have the pleasure to present the Hydropower and Fish Working Program of IEA Hydro. And this presentation is together with my colleague, Anna Bustos. And in the first part, I will talk about the current milestone of this work, while next, Anna will talk about its future. Yes. So we saw during the conference that how complex sustainable hydropower development is in various aspects. Since 2013, the IEA Hydro has dedicated a working program on hydropower and fish for one reason, to raise awareness and provide better understanding of the effects of hydropower on fish. In the closing phase of this program, the aim was to compile and transfer such knowledge through a roadmap to the public. This work was outlined first at the end of 2019 by Hans-Peter Fjellstad, our colleague and chief operating agent of Annex 13, together with Luis Silva, senior scientist at ETH Zurich, and Niels Nielsen, former executive committee secretary of IEA Hydro. Based on the outlines, the work has started from the summer of 2020 under the coordination of Niels and myself. This roadmap was planned to address emerging best practices that meet its objectives, to provide mitigation measures for fish at hydropower plants that minimize the impact of hydropower activities on the fish communities and habitats through the entire watershed. Fundamentally, the roadmap may lead the reader through best practices and management practices in identifying challenges, solutions, and the decision-making processes that achieve these objectives. As we also emphasized in our document, the primary target group of this work are practitioners, such as hydropower production companies, their staff, consultants, experts in relevant technical and natural science fields, and regulators, policy and decision makers. As you can see, the work was based on an international collaboration of experts that represent several disciplines, institutes, and countries. As you can see, several researchers from around the world contributed to the content as creators and co-authors, while almost the same number of people elevated the quality of the final product as reviewers. Several of them attend the Sustainable Hydropower Conference in Trondheim today, and many already had or will have their presentations, during the event as well. The compiled information of the roadmap incorporates technical and ecological experience from the beginning of the modern hydropower utilization. The roadmap consists of several sections, such as introduction and background, to outline and present the topic covered by the document, problems and solutions, to discuss the challenges made by hydropower and the mitigation measures to address them. Then, the decision-making processes to guide and assist the reader between measure alternatives. And finally, monitoring tools to design solutions and assess their effectiveness. Overall, the document is intended to serve as a knowledge basis on a holistic level to achieve sustainable hydropower development on a river basin scale. And now we are going into the different parts in a little bit more detailed way. The introduction and background outlines the objective of the document as well as its scope, purpose, and structure. Then it presents the main aspects that are discussed, such as the role of hydropower in modern times and the importance of riverine ecosystems. It is also emphasized that sustainable hydropower is set by legislative actions that limit the impact of hydropower on selected fishes, identified as target species and part of the ecological aim defined on a local scale. Good examples on legislative actions are presented in this part, while recommendations to develop standards are also provided to those regions and countries where such legislations are outdated or not yet well developed. Next, the core of the document will start, or actually it starts. Problems and solutions discuss the main challenges on inland watercourses by planned or existing hydropower regulations. First, it describes such challenges that are identified as issues termed which problems which certainly occur, or risks, problems which may occur. It is presented through processes that frame issues and risks on a regulated water body, such as the effect of fragmentation, artificial inundation, disturbed sediment transport, water temperature and water quality changes, water regulation, and water abstraction. It also addresses in this part so the roadmap also addresses this part through the issues and risks one by one. So the roadmap addresses these issues and risks one by one and describes nearly 100 different types of measures. For instance, they include solutions for fish migrations upstream and downstream. This is the majority of the different measure types. But beyond that, it also addresses how to deal with supersaturation if some has problems with it, or greenhouse gas emissions, or hydropeaking, and so on. In all cases, they are supplemented by information on recommendations and possible limitations to remediation. The core part of the roadmap is more than just describing problems and solutions. It is also intended to assist the readers between the solution alternatives through developed flowcharts, as presented on the slide. First, it helps the reader to identify relevant challenges through simple questions, then to narrow down on what type of measures they might select from. Therefore, it guides the user towards relevant solutions. However, it is emphasized that the final selection should be taken with local experts supported by detailed on-site studies, if possible, ecological and technical information collected as well. This part also provides an overview of various methods for the economic analysis of mitigation measures or financial considerations. In the final part of the roadmap, different techniques are described that are necessary for adequately design, adopt, and operate mitigation measures on site. It summarizes monitoring programs that are able to characterize the aquatic environment, fish movement, and their abundance on a given spatial and temporal scale. Beyond fish passage assessment, it also discusses different techniques for habitat evaluations. Also, the accompanying supplementary tools like statistical or numerical methods are also included and listed in this part. In the final slide of my part of the presentation, a brief recap is provided. As we talked about it, the roadmap starts with a broad background of hydropower and fish that describes conflicts between them. When there are challenges, numerous solutions are described as mitigation measures for further considerations. And together with flowcharts, with the developed decision support tools, it helps the reader to navigate between them. It has to be noted that although the fish populations were in the main focus of the presented work, many of the described tools may also be beneficial for viable habitats and for other aquatic species. The roadmap is finally openly available, and you may download it via the QR code presented here. We are happy to see that it reached 500,000 downloads in just a couple of days after launching it. And since then, it's growing steadily. Feel free to access it if you haven't done it already, or disseminate it within your networks as you like. With that, I thank you for your attention on the final document of the first hydropower and fish working program within IEA Hydro. Although this working program has come to an end, a new one was just launched earlier this year, and that will be introduced next. Anna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marcel. Yeah, I think it's working. So before I start, just to mention that we have in the SINTEF stand outside, we have 2 printed books of the roadmap. They are from exposition type, so you can have a look at the content. But we also have printed several of these flyers with the QR code, so you can just take it and download the roadmap by your own. So I think I will need your help, Marcel, to pass the slides. So yes, I'm happy to explain the task 19, which is the next part of this roadmap, or the Annex 13. So please, Marcel, next. Yes, so the objectives of this new task were defined through workshops with the working group. The working group is formed mostly for all the contributors of the roadmap. And there was a workshop to define which are the objectives that we want to continue. And these objectives were also asked in a survey for the working group, but also distributed towards other tasks and contributors' countries to the IEA Hydro. So next, Marcel, this is the first objective, which is environmental flows. So we will look at applied methods on local and regional scale, including trade-offs between ecology and power generation. We will also include monitoring techniques and new methods and technology that will help on this. Next. And the last objective is the risk assessment for hydropower operation and fish. I will now give some indication of what is the content of each of these topics. So for the first one, environmental flows, we know that this is a road that has been already researched for many decades, and several guidelines already exist. We have guidelines from EU, North America, the World Bank, but still we want to also look at if there is a universal way of have a guideline, and from the EU, there has already started this initiative. So what we want to do, the aim of the task, is to actually draw the attention to the next level, to this universal method, and also disseminate and discuss. So it's like a forum where the working group will discuss this method, and also why not include things that maybe are not considered. For example, the economic considerations that the DOE were suggesting to include. Next. So also for the next topic, the advanced monitoring techniques, we also know that they have been continuously developing for ages, and people has used them to find fish abundance, what are the characteristics of the habitats. So also the new technologies has helped improving this, and the aim of the task is to actually raise the awareness of these new technologies, for example, environmental DNA, artificial intelligence, how we can use this to find fish on behalf of the fish, and also the sensors that are put on the fish. Next, Marcel. For the risk assessment, is also a method or technique that has been used for preventing failures and securing a stable power production. And also in the eco-hydraulic research, we have applied similar methods in order to find also the risk for different aquatic animals and in relation to hydropower operation. So using, for example, real-time monitoring on techniques, we can integrate this data into the risk assessment, and the objective of the task 19, it will be to emphasize this method. How can you integrate these real-time monitoring techniques and find these matrices for risk assessment? Next, Marcel. So this task 19 duration is established for 3 years program, and there are several milestones in the program, like for example, this just to say that M1 will be January this year. So we have starting launching and doing the kickoff meetings, and we are going to organize seminar workshops through all the 3 years where you will hopefully receive information, and if you are interested, you can participate in them. Next, Marcel. For the deliverables, the first things that we will do is, well, we are creating a teaser to disseminate this, and there will be 3 fact sheets that we will create for one of each objectives, and this is one of the first deliverables. Then we will also work with white reports for these topics, and at the end there will be a final report. Next, Marcel. So we have started with the coordination. We were looking to have 3 coordinators for each of the topics for these fact sheets. And for the environmental flow, it is Marie-Pierre Gosselin. I'm not sure if she's there. So from NINA, the Norwegian Institute for Natural Research. So she will be coordinating the inputs for this first deliverable. Then for the monitoring techniques is Daniel Den from PNNL. And for the risk assessment is Shannon Ames and Maria-Lise Fischer from Low Impact Hydropower Institute. The objective of these fact sheets is mainly to have an easy way to disseminate and also to include the state of the art and what will be the next steps through this task 19. Next, Marcel. So we are having also a first in-person meeting linked to the Hydro 2023 Hydropower and Dams conference that will be in Edinburgh. So we are having 2 ESCO meetings for the different tasks in IEA Hydro, which will be probably between the 19 or the 20, one of these days. Next. So just to finish, if you want to be part of our working group, you can just take contact with us. And I just wanted to show you this because I knew that Marcel used artificial intelligence to create night figures and pictures. I think the roadmap he put, like it was created from it. So I wrote, I give it a try to this DALI, and I wrote oil painting fish with a smile, happy face in a river with hydropower vegetation in a beautiful landscape. And this is, I'm not sure if it was trying to tell me something. So yeah, just, so this was my last slide. If you have questions, you can contact any of us. Thank you.